So our friends on the 5, and this is a Fox News alert. Welcome to Hannity. The left-wing media is waging what is an all-out war against President Trump. The great one, Mark Levin, Laura Ingraham, are both here tonight with reaction. Also, Jay Sekulow, Ari Fleischer, Sarah Carter will also join us. But first, an all-out war is now breaking out between the Destroy Trump media and the president. Let's be clear. Nobody in the press is going to tell you, the American people, the truth about why this is happening and what's really going on. But we will in tonight's very important opening monologue. All right, so the president is daily facing intense criticism, and today it's about the fact that he tweeted out earlier today, and Principal Deputy White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders addressed the outrage earlier. Let's take a look.
I think that the president has been attacked mercilessly on personal accounts by members on that program. And I think he's been very clear that when he gets attacked, he's going to hit back. I think the American people elected somebody who's tough, who's smart, and who's a fighter. And that's Donald Trump. And I don't think that it's a surprise to anybody that he fights fire with fire.
Now, I personally would ignore this unhinged duo, if you will, that calls the president a schmuck, a liar, and worse on a daily basis, and has pretty much an emotional breakdown a day. Now, the White House here does have a point. And look, we're not defending personal attacks, but here is the simple, basic truth. NBC, so-called news, and the rest of the Destroy Trump media, they're not innocent victims that they're claiming to be here. Now, this war against the president has been going on for a very long time, and it was declared by the media against him. And tonight, and this is something you're only going to see right here on Hannity, we will show you how the liberal leftist propaganda media has been carrying out what is a relentless campaign to undermine, delegitimize, smear, slander, and destroy President Trump. This war was started by the mainstream media, not by the president. Let's take a look at the side of your screen. Remember WikiLeaks? They exposed what many of us already knew and thought was going on for a long time. And that is the Destroy Trump media was caught openly colluding, supporting, trying to elect Hillary Clinton, helping her campaign. Now, these rigid left-wing ideologues, they all wanted Hillary Clinton to win. They did everything they could possibly do to try and make that happen. Now, imagine for a second the press giving Donald Trump, any Republican, any conservative this type of treatment. Now, by leaking debate questions like CNN did, or allowing stories and quotes to be edited before they go out. Now, the list of examples goes on and on. And aside from the colluding with Clinton, the media openly mocked, ridiculed the idea that Donald Trump could ever become the president of the United States. Ha ha, that could never happen. Really? They were wrong. Watch.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
We better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket next.
I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on to write it down.
Sorry to laugh.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
And so will at real Donald Trump. Then you remember on election night, November the 8th, Donald Trump, he won the White House. It was a funeral for the mainstream media, obviously distraught and depressed and couldn't wrap their arms around what just happened. After all, they were polling for Hillary to win. They thought she'd win. Remember this?
America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion, and I mean literally crying. Yeah. This is a sadness. It is a mourning moment for those people, and it is a moment filled with fear. Filled with fear.
Our country is about to face some serious crises, and so, I mean, buckle up. Your country needs you.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president in part. And that's the part where the pain comes.
Now, since then, it has been a constant barrage of lies and falsehoods, black helicopter, tinfoil hat conspiracy theories about so-called Trump Russia collusion. Remember, zero evidence of collusion. None. Zip. Zero. But 11 months of coverage. Watch this.
This Russian connection just keeps building, and every time it builds and expands, you have to wonder if Trump himself isn't worried about what's swirling around under the covers.
CNN has learned new details of the FBI investigation into potential links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
Specifically, Willie, I think what it means is that a federal judge found that people in Trump's organization were colluding with the Russians.
What would change the world is if, Russia was interfering in the election. And they weren't doing it on their own, and he was in on it, The FBI director being fired by the president to try to change or stop an FBI investigation into the president's campaign and his top staffers, that is a big freaking deal.
These people are just total crackpots. They're unhinged, suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And by the way, aside from Mr. Thrill-Up-His Leg, Chris Matthews, has anyone else in the Destroy Trump media admitted that there's no evidence when it comes to Russia-Trump collusion? Not really. They're still pushing it day and night and day. They're like hoping publicly that it comes true. And, of course, you got Liberal Joe and his fiancée, MIKA Brzezinski. Now, everyone tonight is rallying around the sweet couple. But as we have said, and by the way, are about to show you, they're completely nuts. And by the way, not innocent victims in this case. In fact, they have called the president a liar, a schmuck, and every vicious, vile name in the book. They have lobbed insult after insult after insult in every way, every single morning for months on end. They're not so innocent. Watch this.
Nothing makes a man feel better than making a fake cover of a magazine about himself, lying every day and destroying the country.
Okay.
It's a good feeling.
Well, Donald Trump, again, being a schmuck.
He looked like a thug. He looked like a goon. You look at the handshake. You look at this. Just what a thug! This is so unbalanced. This is so. He is not well. He's Vladimir Putin's hostage. It would be like somebody pooping their pants and then people looking at it and saying, "Oh, that's modern art." Don't you understand?
This is not funny. This is really bad. Just for the record, we're all really nervous.
I'm looking inside. And I've been terrified by who I saw.
So where was the outrage? Where was the condemnation when they were calling the president these names, schmuck, liar, thug, unfit? Well, apparently the media is only offended, selective moral outrage, when they are the ones that are being attacked. Now, of course, Liberal Joe, MIKA are not alone here. You have the rest of the Destroy Trump media. They haven't held anything back, including lying when it comes to bashing and smearing and slandering President Trump. Take a look. We've got all the video evidence you need.
Now he's President Snowflake, okay? Everything he said, oh, they're mean to me and they don't like me and I just don't understand it and it's not fair.
He's there with his wife. He's there with his whole family. As I say, like the Romanovs. He's got Jared, who might be a part of this story, like hint, and he's got his daughter Ivanka. It's like a traveling royal Romanov family. When he said today, America first, it was not just the racial, the Hitlerian background to it.
This is a very sad night for the country. You can't polish this turd.
When he called you fake news, what if you had called him a fake president?
What did I say in 2007 and 8? Journalism in America is dead. Do you need any more proof? Now, there's a massive, glaring double standard in play here. The Destroy Trump media, they get to say pretty much anything they want about the president, make up lies, make up conspiracies, attack his family, attack his 11-year-old son, attack the first daughter, attack the first lady, attack anyone who dares to be associated with the president. But if the president ever fights back, oh, that's unfair, and they lose it. And they claim Donald Trump is trying to trample the First Amendment and is one step away from dictatorship. This is beyond ridiculous. I don't even believe that they're outraged. And by the way, they deserve to get hit back because they've been so mean, vile, vicious, and lying themselves. And by the way, you, the American people, are not being served here. Enough's enough. The mainstream media has no credibility. By the way, did they ever admit and apologize that they were colluding with Hillary Clinton in the campaign? Of course not. Did they ever come forward and say they were completely wrong about Trump-Russia collusion? Of course not. Are they still pushing their bizarre black helicopter conspiracy theories? Now they've doubled down on it, as they've doubled down on their vicious and vile rhetoric. And by the way, they just can't stop with these attacks. It's only getting worse. Now, many in the mainstream media are still just refusing to accept the reality that you, the American people, wanted and voted for Donald Trump and his agenda. You wanted him to be president. They're still angry you didn't vote the way they wanted you to. And by the way, something they thought was impossible. Here's the point tonight. The Destroy Trump media, they're a bunch of crybaby whiners. They can't handle return fire. Oh, it only goes in one direction in their world. President Trump has disrupted what is the monopoly that they have had for decades. And by the way, what we're seeing is like a little baby throwing a fit and a temper tantrum. And the truth is, the president, he doesn't need the media. The president can reach 100 million plus Americans on social media all on his own. He can do rallies all on his own. He can find all the other ways to connect with you, the American people, rather than having what he says distorted by them, by an extremely biased and hostile press. So why should he trust the propaganda media that lies about him, makes up conspiracies about him, attacks his family? Just look at all the corrections, all the retractions, the countless outlets and that have had to issue these retractions one after another. They have earned the single fake news moniker they deserve. They have earned the criticism they've gotten. And here's a truth that they'll never tell you. Members of the media are lazy. They're sheep. They follow each other. They're all overpaid. By the way, me included, overpaid, rigidly ideological, in their case, partisan propaganda hacks. They claim to be objective. They're not. And by the way, they're watching any relevancy they thought they once had evaporate and disappear. They don't care about truth anymore. They don't care about facts anymore. They don't care about being fair anymore. They are driven by an agenda. And by the way, they have a common goal: to damage, delegitimize, and ultimately get this president thrown out of office. And by the way, it's why they're ignoring the 6 massive scandals that we are reporting here that are going on right under their noses. We're going to have an update on all of those later tonight with Jay Sekulow. By the way, they're pathetic. They're disgusting. I've never been to a Washington Correspondents' Dinner because I've always known these are the people they are. And by the way, it's why the Destroy Trump media can no longer be trusted. Here's my advice to the White House tonight. Ignore Liberal Joe and MIKA. Who cares about them? Ignore the mainstream media. Go directly to the American people. You have the ability to do that. You've figured out that the medias have no credibility left. New Gallup poll, by the way, proves all of this. Trust in media is near all-time lows. So to the White House, let the media continue to have their temper tantrums, spin new conspiracy theories. They can bubble and fizz like Alka-Seltzer in water every night and continue down this ideological leftist path towards irrelevancy.